We are not just HR professionals in this room. We're mothers, we're daughters, we're spouses, we're friends, we're family, and we all are connected to people that are veterans or people with disabilities.
I was surprised, very surprised, first, that we had a Veterans Outreach Center, and secondly, that it served up to 200 veterans per month. We had a panel discussion and collaborated with several agencies in the area: the Veterans Outreach Center at Salvation Army, Goodwill, the VA Social and Medical Services, ESGR, and the Men's Shelter for Homeless Veterans. A very important part of this education was to raise awareness of the growing trend for homeless veterans.
Working together, the many volunteers from SHRM and the small staff of CMA have had a significant impact on the employment outcomes for hundreds of military veterans in our community. One key to our success was meeting with active service members before they left their military service.
Please go out of your way to employ veterans, their spouses. Here's the key. Many have sacrificed for our nation to stay safe and to stay free. Active military veterans, National Guard, reservists, spouses, and children, and let's don't forget the families. For those of you in the audience who are members of the military family and who are taking good care of us, please stand. Let's recognize these folks who have sacrificed their lives for our country.
After 20 years as an Army officer, followed by a career as an account director at an advertising firm, Andrew Morton is now the Director of Social Engagement at SHRM, the Society for Human Resource Management. In this role, he's responsible for all social media activities and communications. Andrew joins us now here in Washington, D.C. Andrew, welcome to Hiring America.
Thank you for having me.
So what is SHRM?
Well, SHRM is the Society for Human Resource Management, and there are over 285,000 SHRM members from across the country, from across the globe, in India and Latin America, and in the Middle East, and everywhere in between. And SHRM is really where human resource professionals work together to move the HR profession forward and kind of collaborate both at the grassroots level in their local chapters and then at national organizational events such as our SHRM annual conference and in conferences like the Volunteer Leader Summit.
What is the Volunteer Leaders Summit?
To me, it's everyone's favorite conference because SHRM is not unlike a lot of other great organizations, whether it's the American Red Cross or other professional societies. We don't function without our volunteers, and there's a network of thousands of SHRM volunteers, well over 6,000 SHRM volunteers across the country who make SHRM work. They are the backbone of SHRM, and we bring several of our SHRM leadership volunteers here to Washington, D.C. so they can network, focus on best practices, talk about managing their chapters and their state councils, and truly do all the work that really makes SHRM a meaningful organization.
Tell me about the Pinnacle Awards taking place today.
You can't recognize everything that the volunteer leaders do, but what you can do is you can certainly reward outstanding chapters at different levels in different places across the country and the initiatives that they do to help support not just human resources, but businesses, organizations, and then in particular, veterans initiatives.
Are all of SHRM's members volunteers?
Well, you know, that's the amazing thing about SHRM is that its chapters and all of its organizations at the grassroots level and at the state level, they don't function without the volunteers. In some cases, hundreds of hours of work on the part of our volunteers. And we have thousands of members who volunteer so much of their time passionately in running chapters, in running events, working at state level initiatives to support human resources. It's just an incredible, amazing feeling. I mean, I served 21 years in the military and people, they thank me for my service, but truthfully, you know, I was compensated for that in so many different ways, and it's such an honor to serve my country. These volunteers serve their profession with that same level of honor and with that same level of commitment. So in many cases, I try to return to them and say thank you for your service, because you're here doing all of this, and it isn't your day job, but it's the thing you're passionate about. And they really give back to the profession through being SHRM volunteers.
Andrew Morton, thank you for joining us on Hiring America.
Thank you for having me.